Welcome back, everyone. We are in the bay once again of Bert's Paradise, and you can see the ship is starting to really come together. In the last episode, we kind of completed the outline of this thing. We got the hull mostly done, and I've got a lot of work to do today. Got quite a big episode planned, and you can see really coming to take shape. But I've got all this dirt here and a bunch of sand. And as much as I have a ton of the red terracotta, I actually ran out. It is quite the big ship. So we're actually going to finish up the outline so I can clear this thing of water using dirt for now. And then slowly over time, as we build this thing, we're just going to replace the dirt with the red terracotta. But I've got to do something really important before I even get there. So I am down here, just kind of punching away at the kelp, and we got to clear all this. And that's going to be pretty quick, but it's also going to provide us with a nice fuel source. So I want the underside of this to kind of be clean. I want to be able to clear out some of this gravel eventually. I don't like how close the boat is to the gravel. I think it's a bit shallow for the realism perspective, but I won't be able to dig that out until I set up the heart of the sea down here to get, I forget what it's called. I know the heart of the sea makes the thing that you can breathe underwater. But I have one, but I haven't set it up, and I need prismarine, which means I need to go, take care of the guardians over yonder. So right now, I'm just going to get rid of all of it. Now, the good thing is, it's not just going to go to waste. So I actually set up a couple of furnaces at the front of the ship, and I'm just going to continually smelt all of this kelp while I clear out the water. And this is going to leave me with a bunch of the dried kelp that I can use for a fuel source in the future. That way I can save my coal, and, we can, just get to going. So I'm going to start to fill all of this in here, although, I should probably clear some of this out first before doing it. But, this is me we're talking about. Why do things the proper way when we can just do things the Bert way? I feel like placing some blocks down underwater. I do have respiration on my helmet, so I actually will last quite a lot longer than without it. So we're going to go ahead and finish placing some of this dirt. So the plan is, you saw the sand. We are going to place all the dirt to fill the rest of the hull here on the bottom. And then we're going to stack some sand, and pretty old school. We're just going to fill it with sand, knock the sand down, and the water will be gone. All right. So I've been doing a bit more placing. Didn't feel like we had to show all of that, but I am kind of running out of dirt here. So we're actually going to start placing our sand, and I'm going to have to clear some of this, grab some more dirt. Probably should have just started a smaller patch sooner, but here we go. So I'm just going to start placing and placing and placing. So I'm going to use the torch trick here, and you'll see in a second when I start to get going. But just going to fill this up, and then when you break the bottom block, you can place a torch, and then you just break every other block because it's just got the gravity block, so it just falls and breaks itself. So we're going to use that to our advantage. I could use sponges, but, we go old school. And speaking of old school, here is our method to the madness. So I could go get some sponges, but I'd need quite a few. I don't quite have the gear and the potion set up to take on the guardians at the ocean monument. So for now, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to place a bunch of sand, and we're just going to spend some time clearing it out. And sand is a pretty good resource to have anyway, so, we're killing a couple birds with a couple stones here. But yeah, so this is coming along, and I've actually cut out quite a bit. So this has taken hours, and you can see, I kind of cut to when I made a bit more progress, and slow but sure, like we're coming through. So I'm actually really excited with the amount of space we have down here. So I didn't build the full model that I found online. I just built the main captain's deck, if you will, because that's the most important part for me, because I want to build the villager breeder there. And so I always knew I was going to have a lot of space here, but seeing it come together now, I'm really pleased. And I think we're going to be able to fit quite a few villagers down here and a few farms as well. So that'll be really nice. I plan this bottom layer to be more of the farm area, and sort of like a cargo hold with farms. So like melon and pumpkin, sugar cane, bamboo, basically all of your crops I want to put down here, and then a few of the other farms that can help trade with villagers. That way I'll always have a good supply of everything I need to get some emeralds and get the goodies that the villagers provide us. I am going to need to light this place up quite well. I don't really want to have things attacking me. We already got some drowns down here. There's like a little drowned area. I kind of cleared it out when I cleared out the rest of the kelp, which you can see smelting here. So bam, got a bunch of that smelting. So normally this takes forever. You have to wait for it. But since I'm clearing out the sand, I can just throw it in here, and I got tons of kelp. So we're going to have a fuel source for quite a long time, and we're going to need that fuel source for smooth quartz. So yeah, let me get back to placing some sand, knocking it down, and I'll cut back when we made some more progress. And progress has been made. Look at that. Whew, that took quite a while, but we now have the hull completely empty of water, and I have brought a friend along with us. I realize I brought the wrong station for him, but, or did I? I can't remember. I can't remember who I brought over here. I either brought the armor or I brought my my guy, the stonemason. Either way, we brought over our first villager to his forever home. And I'm pretty excited about this because we're just going to bring basically the 6 or so that I bred up over on the beach so that I have easy access to them over here. Should be pretty simple to get them in. They don't want to go anywhere that's in the water, so they'll jump right in and they won't be able to come out. All right, it's been a while. I have my villager in there, and we've got to do some building. And I am just kind of taking a look here, making sure we've got everything set up, but we're going to have a lot of things to place. And I've got a bunch of dirt, and we're going to start outlining this giant captain's quarters. You can see our friend down there who will be providing us with some quartz and some more red stuff for the hull. Going to need a lot of that. But we're just going to kind of build up here in a second. I am going to replace this, but I'm kind of using it as scaffolding and just kind of outlining so I can see the general shape. And this is going to be probably like a bit difficult, I would say, just because I'm going back and forth on my other screen and meticulously making sure that I'm not like missing any blocks. So, you know, when you're building in creative, I think I mentioned this last episode, it's pretty easy because you can just punch the blocks, but, you know, can't do that when you're in survival. So what this part is going to be, it's going to be some black concrete and some smooth quartz as a stripe down the center of it. But this is going to be the part of the hull that is above the water. And right now I'm just building up to where the main floor will be. And I'm going to build across. So yeah, if you take a look, go in spectator mode here, this is about how high the hull is going to stick above the water to kind of give you a sense of the scale. And so we're going to build across and kind of set up a floor and this is where we're going to have our villager breeder be. it doesn't look like much now, but it's going to start to take shape as we kind of go out here. And I'm going to need quite a few blocks, so starting out with dirt is going to be my best friend. And then over time, we're going to either replace or, we might keep some of it, because like I said the last time, I do plan on putting carpet down to both add texture and prevent mobs from spawning. So we may be able to just get away with a bunch of dirt here. Although, part of me just wants to find a better block. So, in case there's some angle you can see it, it's not just dirt. But we're going to go ahead and build all the way across. And I promise that we won't just leave the backside unattended, but, just have everything here. We're probably going to build the front side first. But don't worry, I'll get to it all, I promise. Also helps if we have a way down, a way up and down. Haven't gone to the end yet, so we'll get elytra soon. And here we go, placing more blocks, placing more blocks. And our best friend down there has a nice home. It's nice and lit up, so there are no zombies down there to get him. And we can pop down and trade every once in a while when we need. So this deck is going to be quite massive. And as I'm building this, it's kind of dawning on me just how big this thing is. It didn't seem that big when I built it in creative, and seeing other creators build things twice the size of this, but now it's kind of hitting me just kind of how big this thing is going to be. I have measured it, and the reason I chose this model, besides it looking great, again, shout out to Brea for making this, is it actually perfectly fits in the middle section of the main deck here, a villager breeder. So you could build a really compact villager breeder where you have, them just sitting on the fence post, but I like the old school, just pop down some wheat and a couple of composters and have them look at a couple of beds, and then you can watch the villagers breed, and then the little baby villager comes out and tries to access the bed, and then he tries to walk across a 2-block gap with some trap doors and just kind of falls through. And I just like that aesthetically, and I think it would be fun to be able to maybe still be able to trade with them, but also see there's some action going on. Maybe I can create a texture pack to give them sailor outfits, so it looks like they're actually doing something. Or maybe these guys will be the cooks in the galley. I don't know. Haven't thought through the lore yet, but yeah. So you could see here, we're gonna put a 9x9 in the very center of this, and then I've measured it out. So there's a 9x9, and then we're gonna have 2 hallways that go down the side as part of the main design. And that's kind of the only deviation I've taken from the model online, is just kind of this middle section. Just wanted to stick my breeder in here. And then the cool part about this is underneath, the villager is actually going to drop down into a water, like a waterfall, if you will, so that they don't take damage. And then the water is going to push them to a point where I can access it with a minecart, and then I will be able to grab them with the minecart, get the zombie there to convert them back and forth to get the best trades, and then they will be sent to their workstation along the middle floor of this. So the top deck is going to have carpet on it. Haven't decided exactly what I want to put on the top deck. Very bottom is going to have the farms, and the middle is going to be where the trading hall is. So I'm pretty excited about it. So right here, I'm just kind of placing out the crops. So I like this villager breeder personally, because you don't really have to attend to it. Now, there are a couple designs that are similar to this, and like I said, there's the one where they sit on the fence post. I like them to be self-sustaining because I just have the worst luck possible. Anytime I build something that's supposed to be quote-unquote automatic, it ends up breaking in 5 minutes, even this. And so this one's pretty easy. If it breaks, you just break all the beds. Maybe you break some crops, or you give them some extra seeds, and then they start planting. So it's a little less finicky than some of the other farms you can build. And I want something consistent, especially if I'm going to be around here all the time. So let me get to do a little bit more work here, and I'll cut back when we've made a bit more progress. Ta-da! The water has spread. We've got the good soil there, and I'm going to start to place some trapdoors down. And then we'll get some of these seeds in here. I got a lot of seeds because I have a giant wheat field over by the beach. I can't wait to kind of make more crops over there. That's going to be my agriculture center. But we'll get these placed down, and you can start to see this thing come together. I gotta put the trap doors down and get some walls up, and then we'll be able to put two farmers in here that can, throw each other some seeds and wheat, and then they'll breed. Great, don't need those. So you can see I've actually got some trees down here, and that's kind of like the perk of being lazy and not trading for all of the red terracotta just yet, because I can just plant it on my floor down there and then have a mini tree farm. And then when I need some stuff, I just go harvest it. All right, so let's see. So we got to build this. It's got to be 2 high. And then if you haven't seen this one before, you basically build a little roof right here, and then you put trapdoors on the bottom side so that the larger villagers can't go through, but the baby ones can. All right, we need more trapdoors. Lots more trapdoors. So, I got a few more. I'm gonna have to plant a bunch of trees and just wait for them to grow. So, for these, so there, we have finished a little bit of it. So we've got our platform. The wheat has started to grow. I planted some trees up there, and we've got the trapdoors in place to, keep our villagers in there, but the baby villagers will be able to go down. So I'm pretty proud of this. And we started with the skeleton of a hull this morning, and now it's really starting to take shape. Still doesn't look like a cargo ship just yet, but we're getting there. So you can see I got a couple beds down here, and I took the time to get a little bit of resources. So all you need for this design is three beds, because you'll have 2 villagers. They'll always want to fill the 3rd bed. They will look at the bed, and they will breed. So now we're going to start placing actual blocks. So I've got a ton of black concrete. I've got a fair amount of quartz, and we're going to start placing it. So I want to build up this side that's going to meet up with that floor. So where the dirt is going to be ground floor for the top deck. So I'm going to need to build up a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of some of this dirt, and we're going to go ahead and start really making this thing start to come together. So this is the white stripe, and I talked about it a little bit in the last episode, but the reason I chose smooth quartz versus a white concrete is you can actually see really well here. There's a little bit of texture, and I think that gives it a little bit more kind of a worn look, if you will. Which I want, because I think the white concrete looks a little too perfect. Now the black, I'm not too worried about, because it's hard to show any sort of texture on black, unless there's some barnacles or something. I don't know how I would do that. I'm not that good of a builder. But, so I'm fine with black concrete there, but for the stripe, the smooth quartz I think really looks good for this. So, yep, we're going to just kind of put all these up, and it's going to really make things come together. So it's going to put up the side, and now it's going to really start to look like a cargo ship. So I'm getting really excited just kind of looking at all of this. Let's go ahead and out here, and we're going to take a look from afar. This is my first view of in survival what our ship will start to look like, and I honestly can't wait. Wow. Okay, that looks like a boat. I was worried, but it looks like one. Aw, yeah. Okay, and let's also get a view of it during the daytime in creative mode. So this is what it looks like so far. I promise you I will build the back half, but let's just focus on the front for now. I think it looks pretty good. And you can see how the villager breeder is going to fit perfectly there right in the center. And you won't even see it unless you go inside. So that's the aspect that I really like about all of this. And so now I'm going to actually start to swap out this dirt for the actual floor. So where I need a lot of quartz for this is the top half of the boat is white as well. And I want it to match the stripe because theoretically you'd have a similar paint for the stripe down the side of the ship as you would on the main deck here. So I'm going to just kind of clear some of this out. We're going to start to take the dirt I have on this floor out because I need to actually move it down and do a few things. So we're going to clear our inventory, put this down, and we got a lot of quartz to place and a lot of blocks to move. So you can see my interim tree farm up here worked pretty nicely as we were going through, getting a lot of oak. So yeah, I like to be a little bit crafty with my free time here, if you will. All right, so this one is going to be, hopefully I won't mess this up, but I got on the second screen here the model pulled up, and I'm building up the first wall on the first side of this. And I hope I get this right. It's a little hard to see in the model, but I think I should be able to get it. But this is going to be the wall that is going to enclose the villager breeder. And now this part is above deck. So at the very top of this, the very, very top deck, will be where the captain's quarters are, where they will steer the ship and all of that. So the breeder will not be visible unless you actually go inside the ship. So it'll still look like a ship, but if you really want to interact with the villagers, it'll be right there. Man, I am blasting through this quartz. But yeah, so the whole side is white. Or I shouldn't say the side. All the walls are white. So I'm going to need quite a bit of quartz. So our stonemason's going to get a lot of work done, giving us all that quartz, but I think we're going to have to take a few trips to the nether. I'll spare y'all that, but, it shouldn't be too bad getting all of this. And then we can smelt it up using all of the kelp that we cleared out from below the hull. Cannonball! So yeah, that looks nice. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah, that's starting to come together. That's crazy. There's just a bunch of dirt before, but we're really starting to make progress. I'm happy with this. All right, so Future Bert here as we do a quick time lapse of me clearing out all this dirt. Wanted to kind of give a quick update of where we are. Apologize for this video taking a little bit long to come out. Had a couple family events, which was a lot of fun in real life, and work got a little busy. And as you can see, this took quite some time. This was many, many, many days worth of work for me. Unfortunately, I don't have time to just sit in one day and knock it out like, maybe some others. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this and this process of building. I think it should take, probably 1 to 2 more episodes of getting things ready. To move our villagers in, and it'll really start to take shape there, and then I can kind of progress with the main things of the world. I can start to beat the Ender Dragon. I can start to look for the Warden and the Deep Dark, and then the Trial Chambers as well, because I have not done that yet, so I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of building episodes coming up. There's a wandering trader down there. That's kind of funny. I forgot about that. But there's going to be a lot of building, like I said. And then I do want to do some adventuring, and I want to actually, like, have some fun and start to build more than just the ship. I did get this, since this is future me, I haven't got it to work in this episode yet, but I do want to let you guys know I have replay mod installed, and I think I mentioned that last time, and I'm just playing around with some clips for the next episode, some quick time lapses, so it'll look a little better than this, with so it's not as jittery and POV, and you can get the third person view. But yeah, here is the breeder. Almost got it. There you go. So you can see we got a bunch of quartz here, and by a bunch, just about 2.5 stacks. And we're going to build out the rest of the shell here for this main deck. I think I have enough, and let me check here. Should have enough for the, bottom portion of it. But let's go ahead and start placing some blocks until we run out of this quartz. And I think this should be, a good ending point for the episode. Once we finish this. Got a lot done. But so with this, it's kind of interesting. There's an interesting pattern that goes on, so that when you look from the front, there's a couple windows, and it's hard to describe, so you'll just have to trust me until it kind of comes to shape. But so that's one of the windows, that's another one, and we're gonna put stained glass in there, and it's gonna look really cool. I tested it out in creative, and I chose my color scheme, and I'll leave that for a surprise. But this is where we're going to kind of build the other half. So I promised you, not just neglecting the back half of a building. We're actually going to build it out. But yeah, so this front half is going to be just covered in quartz. And then make sure we got all of this. Okay. So there is, the way this one works is, let me build out a little bit. There's a hallway, and there's 2 little things that jut out here. So it kind of punches out like that to give it a little bit more shape. So it's right here, and you can see to the left, that's kind of where you can walk in. So this portion just kind of juts out, and it gives texture to the front half of the main deck. And then there's 2 little entry points, and so this builds up a couple of floors. So there's a floor just above the breeder, and there's one above that. And let me just look at my reference here, make sure I got everything correct. So then this entire place that we're going to build right here, starting here, is going to build a corridor. So there's going to be 2 iron doors here, and I'm going to have iron pressure plates to kind of make that be automatic. And this wall is going to have a few windows, but this is going to be what encases the villager breeder. And I think it looks pretty cool. So let me know what you think once we get this here. But there's a window right here. There we go. Making sure I get this right. It's hard with 2 monitors. I understand why people use schematics and the mods that show you where to place the blocks. But yeah, so I'll explain in a little bit what this little gap in between the breeder is. But yeah, this is the little hallway that you can walk through, and then this is where you'll enter so that you can get to the captain's quarters. All right, come on, son, go down a little bit faster so I can sleep. I do not have much of this lit up, and I do not need a creeper blowing me and my stuff up. So yeah, anyway, like I was saying, I'll explain kind of what that is there, but let's just take a look from spectator mode. So you can see there's 4 windows, and you can get a better view right there of the texture it provides, just popping those out. We got the nice wall there, and you can see the corridor coming together. So that corridor actually goes from the front to the back, and there's a little back deck area. And then again, where you see the dirt there, that is going to be the ground floor that goes forward to be the main deck of the ship. And apologies again, just looking at the reference. Once I get replay mod in, it's going to be much better than me just kind of switching monitors and going back and forth here. I could just show you a cool time lapse, so hopefully going to get that working for you. But yep, back into survival. We've got a little bit more than a stack of blocks to work with before I got to get more. So yeah, let's just quickly do this side. And then I think from there, that'll be a good place to call the episode. Really making a lot of progress. So let me know how you guys like this, or if you don't like this. I can cut this down, obviously, but I do enjoy building and showing the building process and just kind of talking. But if it's boring, I'll just turn it into a time lapse next time. So let me know what you guys think. Oops. There we go. Cool. So that's the inside corridor, and then I got to build the back wall like this. So this is what will keep the villagers in place and enclose the entire thing. And that's why I need a lot of quartz. And so anything to the right of where I'm placing blocks right now will be the back deck, and obviously to the left will be the breeder. So we've got all of that. Let's see, so we're gonna, actually, I did this wrong. I gotta rip this out. I think it needs to be one further back, because I made a little bit of a mistake. Because I actually want the I want spruce logs to be the outline of that breeder. But anyway, this little corridor here, so obviously that's where the villagers will go down, but I'm going to have a staircase that goes up here alongside, and a hallway that kind of makes it so that you can go up to the second floor. So that's going to be a couple blocks wide there, so I want to make sure I have all of that. So anyway, as you can see, we've got a sheep. What are we going to do with this sheep? Well, you'll just have to stick around and find out in the next episode. You know, its name should give it away, but I just wanted to thank everyone for sticking around. Made a lot of progress this episode, and as we get this sheep to its forever home with the villagers, let me know what you think about our build so far. The boat is really starting to come together, and stay tuned for the next episode. Should have it sometime later this week, and hope you're having a good week wherever you are. And let's get this guy in here before we head out. There's one, and there's two. All right, everyone. I'm going to take care of these sheep, get them in for next episode. Let me know what you think in the comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys later.